Good evening, world. It's 5:30. Did you just get back from your shift, Ivan? No, I didn't. I ended at 4 o'clock and it's 5:30 because I picked up my check at Dinty's at my tip out. I got a ride to Dinty's, but I had to walk back home, which is a 40-minute walk from home. Obviously, it was a long fucking walk, yeah. Yeah, and that's how you know I'm in good shape. Even after working a daunting shift, today was fucking busy at Coco Fruity. I got a ride there, but then I had to walk back home. I walked like a 40-minute walk, man. Good exercise. Yeah. I made a coffee, so in a sec, I'm going to go just get my coffee, guys. Let me just make sure it's brewing. Give me a second. Is it brewing? My coffee? Yeah, sorry, guys. I forgot to press the button. Now my coffee's brewing. And my room's an absolute mess. I'm off tomorrow, so tomorrow, after I make my video in the morning, I'm going to clean my room. My room's a mess. I have to clean it. There's cans all over the floor here. The floor is a bit dirty. I have to sweep it. I have to mop it. I have to wash my bed sheets and organize my books a little bit, and it's clean again. It only takes me like 40 minutes to clean my room. It doesn't take that long, right? 35, 40 minutes, I'm done. 40 minutes, I'm done, yeah. Are you tired, Ivan? Yeah, I have like no energy. Fucking tired, man. And I walked back from Dinty's too, which is Dinty's to home is a 40-minute walk. Yeah, I was gonna walk to Dinty's to pick up my check, but I asked the guy, because he lives in Ottawa, I asked him if he can give me a ride there. It's on the way, so he gave me a ride there. Because walking there and back, I walked there and back a few times to pick up my check. Walking there and back is like a 1 hour and like 20-minute walk. 23-minute, 1 hour, 20-minute walk there and back to Dinty's. And I've walked that distance a few times, obviously. But walking from Dinty's to home is 40 minutes. Obviously, but it's good exercise. I burned some calories, right? I was so tired. I walked that distance after working that shift at Coco Fruity, man. Today was fucking busy because it's Father's Day, right? By the way, happy Father's Day to all you guys, right? Hope you guys enjoy your Father's Day. Yeah. 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 You asked the boss for more hours. Yeah, I asked him if I can work more hours. I'm like, do I work more hours or I only get my 3 shifts? They know, Ivan, you only get your 3 shifts because right now the restaurant's very slow, and the boss gets his brother or the other guy to wash the dishes. So why would I pay Ivan to wash the dishes when I can just get the other guys to wash the dishes? I save money. I only work 3 days a week now, so I'm only going to get like my 650, 600, 660, 670 hour paychecks. Yeah. I'm looking for other jobs, but so far all the jobs I applied to, none of them got back to me, man. I don't know what's going on here, man. I applied to like 15 jobs. None of them got back to me. And when I apply to dishwashing jobs, I get the job right away. And when I apply to other jobs, it's tough for me to get a job, man. Yeah. 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 Are you home alone, Ivan? Yeah, the folks I think went out to dinner for Father's Day, right? But I arrived home late, so I didn't go. I ended my shift at 4, and I just got home like 10 minutes ago, like 5:20. Yeah, 10, 15 minutes ago I got home, right? Yeah. I wish I got that Shadow Cartier job, man. As a dishwasher, Shadow Cartier, if I get that job, I could get a membership there, probably at a discounted price. I can go swimming and everything after my shift because they have a pool there, right? I heard it's like $5 to swim or something like that. Yeah, after my shifts, I can swim sometimes. I didn't get a call from those guys. I applied like 5 days ago. I never heard from them. So I even called and left a message. They never got back to me. So I guess that's not happening, right? Yeah. So Ivan, you're gonna stay at Coco Frutti? Yeah, like right now I have a job, so I'm gonna stay at Coco Frutti until I find another job. And if I don't find another job, I'll just work at Coco Frutti, obviously. Sarah. Because right now I have a job. I don't want to quit that job and not be able to find another one after that, right? Yeah. Yeah. But the boss cut my hours. I only work 3 days a week now, right? Yeah. Right. I thought you said you don't like closing Coco Frutti. I don't like closing Coco Frutti, but like I have no choice. I need the money. I have to save my money. I gotta get my book proofread, man. Yeah. $600 is. I want to at least make my 750, 800 plus. 600 is not that great, man. But the restaurant's slow, so the boss had to cut my hours. Yeah. That's why the gate's not touching my money, man. You have me work. You have me do dirty work for little money, man. The blame's off the Xanus books for me, VJ. It's not for you. Not touching our money. This is my money. It's not yours. The blame's off the books for me, VJ. It's not for you, sir. As I read, how's money me off your book, by the way? I made $14 million. You made $14 million off your book? I'm like, yeah. She's like, holy shit, that's a lot of money. I know. A lot of money. All right, how much you weigh now? I'm exactly 260. Yesterday I was 259, but I had Subway at night. I had one. All I ate yesterday at nighttime was one sub. I had one sub, and tomorrow I'm only going to eat one meal. The only days I eat more than one meal is the days I work, obviously. The days I work, they're here now. The days I work. Sorry? Yeah. The days I work at Coco Frutti, Dinty's I don't eat there. I bring my food home. At Coco Frutti, I eat my lunch meal there. So the days I work at Coco Frutti, like, so 3 days a week I eat 2 meals a day. I eat my food at Coco Frutti when I go on break, and I eat like one meal at night. But the Dinty's and the other days, I only eat one meal. Like tomorrow, I'm only going to eat one meal. Today's my cheat day, so I'm going to go to Snack Shack. I'll get maybe like 5-6 hot dogs at Snack Shack. Or I can get Belmont Burgers. Glenwood, but Glenwood Belmont Burgers are expensive. They're like $11 per burger. So if I get 2 burgers and drinks, it's like $25. Where Snack Shack, I get 6 hot dogs. It's like 25 hot dogs. It's $23 for the drink. It's cheaper, a bit cheaper. Why aren't the burgers better than the hot dogs? Yeah, like Snack Shack has better burgers and hot dogs, but it's more expensive. I want to save as much money as I can. So, yeah. Some sour. I'll have one beer. Bought my 6 beers today. Alright, I thought you're not getting 6 beers. The days I get paid, that's the day I get my beer. Obviously. And the days I'm off too. So tomorrow I'll get my 2 smokes with my beer. But instead of 6 beers, I'll get like maybe 2 40s. And then Tuesday, yeah. I want to save more money, obviously. This paycheck I'll be at $1,000 saved. So I went from 0 to 1,000 in like a month, right? Because I've been more serious. I still blow a good like maybe 200, 180 bucks in my savings, but I save a good chunk of it. And by the time I get paid, I have more money in my savings. Before I just blew all my savings, man. I had like, by the time I got paid, I had like 40, 50 left in my bank, you know. What's that? My phone charging? Give me a sec here. Okay, it's charging. That's good. Yeah. 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 So VJ will be shocked when you tell you made $14 million. He actually will. VJ doesn't know us to have that kind of money, man. That's why she's like, Ivan, you made 14 billion with a B? Like 14 with a B. Are you sure it's not 1.4 billion, Ivan? I'm like, no. It's 14 billion. She's like, holy shit, that's a lot of money, Ivan. Are you gonna share that with me? I'm like, yeah, well, relax, man. I'll share it with you. Chill. No. You have to share your electrical monies with VJ. If you have like 3 million in your bank, you're sharing that with me. We're putting it all in the same account. When I register for the cars, we're going to share our money together. I'm sharing the billions of money off my book with you. You have to share it off my with VJ. I have not share it with you. I'll put it in the same account. Yeah, I saved your fucking ass, man. Because of me, you're living this amazing life, and you're welcome. Yeah. I got you out of Hollywood, and I saved your ass. You're the only person in the world who sees the light. Obviously, whereas everyone else sees hell. And you're the lucky one. And you're living this moment life with me, and you now control the mind with me, and you're now treading with me. It's because of me you're living this life, hence why I choose to relive, and you have to share your mind with you. It's how it works. And she will, because of what I did for her. Yeah, I've now shared a little of mine. I have like no money anyways. I only have like $750K in my bank card, and she's like, poker bread with me. Because I'm in the billions, now she's showing the billions with me right now. We can build that dream like $650 million house. I know. If I make $14 million, I'll put $650 million, 600 to 650 million towards my house. We can start that film studio, Ivan. Yes, we can start that film studio, VJ. We can fund Xanus for $2.1 billion. Yeah, we can fund Xanus for $2.1 billion, $2.2 billion of our money, and our company blows out of the water. We start Skies Entertainment and blows out of the water. Yeah. Yeah. And I can now get all the chosen Hollywood actors for Xanus out of the Hollywood system. I can pay them more money and I give them better perks. And they get to be famous movie stars with me and VJ. They experience the fame with me and VJ for the Xanus movie. That's why the Xanus are lucky. John Mega, Avon George, Jimonsu, they're fucking lucky. Or perhaps Timothy Chalamet or Diane Glide. We'll see what happens. But chances are those other actors are my choice for the role right now. Yeah. My coffee's ready, guys. I'll get my coffee in a good maybe 10 minutes. 8-10 minutes, I'll get my coffee. Yeah. Yeah. Volume, seriously, man, what volume is the best in your book? It's going to be between volume 3 and volume 2. But some fans might even like volume 1 the best. But I highly doubt volume 1 because volume 1 is just the build-up of the story. But some people might love the whole thing with the life behind the walls and Xanus. They might like that better than volume 2 and volume 3. But I think it's going to be a debate between volume 2 and volume 3. But my prediction is most fans will like volume 2 the best. Because volume 3, it's a plot twist. I take it on a different direction. It's a different tone. Some fans might not like that. I take the story in a different direction. And volume 3, you can argue, is the most raw in terms of the dialogue and then the flow of the chapters. You can argue it's the most raw. But it's the volume that blows your mind away with the scenes. Hence why you can also argue it's better than volume 2. But volume 2, you can argue, has better flow of dialogue. It's less, it's more polished, more flourishing in the dialogue. That's why it's like a back and forth with volume 2 and volume 3, obviously. It's bizarre. I like volume 3 the best, but some fans, I think most fans like volume 2 the best. Yeah, volume 2 is my favorite. Yeah, I've won for the movies. For the movies, all the volumes will be equally as good, man. Volume 1 will be amazing, Volume 2 will be amazing, Volume 3 will be amazing. I think most fans will say, yeah, I can't choose which volume is the best for the movie. They're all fucking amazing movies, yeah. Even for Lord of the Rings, it's kind of tough to choose which is the best, right? Because they're all very good. But for me, my favorite is Two Towers, but a lot of fans like Fellowship of the Ring the best, a lot of fans like Return of the King the best. Yeah. What's considered the weakest in what's considered the weakest movie in Lord of the Rings by most fans? Most fans say Two Towers is the weakest because it's the slowest. Nothing really happens in Two Towers. Two Towers has the worst pacing out of the 3 movies when you watch it. There's not much action. The only action you get in it is the battle with the wolves, the hog wolves, whatever it is. And you have the Helmsley War, and you have the mini battle with Faramir in the end. And that's it. And the pacing in Two Towers, you can argue it's the slowest. But even though it's the slowest, I when I watch Two Towers, I like it the best, man. There's something about it I just like more than the other 2 movies. And Fellowship of the Ring is a close second for me. And then Return of the King for me is the worst. Even though it has the most action, the wars are rushed. A lot of the battle scenes are rushed and everything. Yeah, rushed battle scenes. Yeah, I'm gonna tell Peter, I don't want any rushed battle scenes in my movie, right? Yeah, for Lord of the Rings, I had to rush it. We had a limited. I was limited what I can do, Ivan. We couldn't do much for that for the wars, Ivan. We're limited. Yeah, for my movie, it's unlimited. I don't want rush wars, Peter. Like the battle scene in Caravans, I want that to be a good maybe 15, 17 minutes long. And the end war having be a good maybe 30, 40 minutes long. 40-minute war. 35-minute, 40-minute war. 35 minutes good enough for the end war, right? Well, you have an amazing war. Here's why we can have an amazing war. You gave it on the budget, yeah. Because I gave Peter on the budget, he doesn't have to worry about running out of money for the battle scenes, man. Looking at amazing battle scenes for my movie. Yeah. Yeah. I know you bluffing, man. Is your whole book like that? Yes, guys. I'm not lying to you guys. My whole book is Constant Entertainment. That's why I wrote a masterpiece, man. It's the best fantasy novel ever written, man. There's a reason why my stepmother told me my book is #1. Yeah. Ivan, what if you make 30, 40, 50 million off your book? Will you put more money towards the movie? Yes. I'll make it for $3 billion. $1 billion per volume. That's good enough. I'm not going to put more money in. Otherwise, you're wasting money, obviously. Yeah. Or I could even put $6 billion towards it. We make each movie for $2 billion if I make $50 billion. Because I know I'm going to make my money back. But you don't want to waste your money, right? Yeah, but chances are I'm not going to make that. I'm going to make my 10, 14, 15, 20 billion. I put 2.1, 2.2 billion towards Xanus. If I make 10, 11, 12, I'll put 2.1 towards. If I make 13, 14, I can put 2.2. If I make 15, 16, 17, I can put 2.22. And if I make 20, I can put 2.3 towards it. Like maybe 750 million towards each volume. I put money towards it. I make a better movie. If I make my 30, 40, 50 billion, I'll make it for $3 billion. Yeah, $1 billion per volume. Yeah, but chances are it's going to be the 2.1 billion around there, right? I make Xanus for $700 million per volume, per movie, right? That's a revolutionary knowledge. That's the biggest budget we ever made. Yeah, no movie has ever made for that much money before. You know. Because in Hollywood, the marketing cost doesn't count towards the budget. It's the marketing budget, getting your movie out there. That's not a part of the initial budget, obviously, right? That's an added budget to the movie budget. See what I'm saying? Yeah, but we don't have to spend time on marketing. We have the keys to the kingdom. We don't have to spend any money on marketing. We have the keys, me and VJ. So I think it's easy for us. So I have the human scenes in your book are more interesting than the animal scenes. Yes. Well, Volume 3, they're equally as entertaining. But Volume 1 and 2, the human scenes are obviously a bit more entertaining than the wolf scenes when you read it. As Eret's not developed as well in Volume 1 and Volume 2. I developed him much better in Volume 3. Volume 3, he's developed pretty well. Volume 1 and 2, it's the buildup of his development. Hence why for the movie, I'm probably going to add stuff with Eretat to make it more interesting. You develop Eretat more for Fulmore, Morale the General. Mass and Bass, the twin brother servants, are pretty minor. They're not that major. They're pretty minor. They're supporting characters, but they don't have that much scenes, right? In the movie, I can add stuff to add more scenes with those guys to make more interesting, obviously. I don't mind me and Peter or Mel Gibson adding stuff to make more interesting, but don't change or ruin the DNA and the plot of the story. Don't make drastic changes. That's my point. Don't make drastic changes. Otherwise, you can ruin the story. Don't make drastic changes that can affect the plot a lot. Like Peter did for Lord of the Rings. Peter made a lot of drastic changes whereby he's even affecting the plot. Yeah. Like in the books, Frodo does not send Sam home. Peter made that up in the movie. And Faramir in the book overcomes the temptation of the ring. In the movie, he's tempted by the ring. That's a major change in the story, right? Peter made some major changes in the story. Obviously. And the movies are nothing like the books. The only movie where it was pretty faithful to the book was Fellowship of the Ring. Fellowship of the Ring, it's pretty faithful to the book. Pretty faithful. Peter still made a lot of changes and he cut a lot of things. Whereas Two Towers and Return of the King are nothing like the books. Peter just made up a bunch of stuff and he changed so many things, man. It's crazy. Whereas I had no choice, man. Like, Lord of the Rings is a hassle to do that, man. Like, J.R.R. Tolkien has so many things going on every page. It's crazy. I have to cut out so many things, Ivan. I know, Peter. But you were not... In terms of the themes of Lord of the Rings, you were faithful in that sense, Peter. But in terms of following the book, you were not that faithful. You made a lot of drastic changes to the story. Samsara? Ivan, what about the elves? What about the elves helping out the people of Rohan in Helm's Deep? That's made up by Peter. That's not in the book. The Battle of Hornsburg. By the way, the Battle of Hornsburg takes place like halfway through Two Towers, whereas Peter Jackson has to take place like at the end of Two Towers. Yeah, Peter Jackson made a lot of changes to the story. And the Stairs of Cirith Ungol, where Sam and Frodo fight the spiders, they meet the spider, obviously. That's in Two Towers. That's not Return of the King. But Peter had that in Return of the King. He made a lot of changes to the story, Peter. Only Peter, I don't want you doing that for my movie, whereby you take some chapters in Volume 2 and you put it in Volume 3. Don't do that, Peter. We follow the story. Because Ivan, for your movie, we can easily follow page by page. Your book's much more easy to adapt. Lord of the Rings is a hassle to adapt, yeah. As Peter Jackson said in an interview, yeah, if you follow Lord of the Rings page by page, the story would be a mess. He is right. It would have a lot of pacing issues, and you have to make like 6 movies to follow Lord of the Rings page by page. Like Fellowship of the Ring would be 2 parts, Two Towers would be 2 parts, Return of the King would be 2 parts. Because there's 3 movies, Peter Jackson couldn't cram all that in one movie. You have to make a lot of changes and cut out a lot of things. But for my movie, I don't want him doing that. I don't want you taking chapters in Volume 2, Peter, and putting it in Volume 1. You could ruin my story. Samsara? Like, there's nothing wrong with having a few scenes, maybe. There's nothing wrong with having maybe a few scenes, maybe. Putting it in a different volume. But Peter, I don't want to do that. I want to actually follow the book. Yeah. Obviously. Because Peter might tell me, Ivan, for the capture scene, why don't we just put that at the end of Volume 1? That way you have a nice battle in Volume 1. Yeah, but Peter, we have the prologue battle. That's already good enough. Yeah. I'm going to have to talk to Peter. You think it's better if we start Volume 2 off with the battle with Tacitonius, Cassius, and the 50 men? Or is it better to have it happen in Volume 1? You can make that change. That way you have a big battle scene in Volume 1. Yeah. Peter might tell me, I think it's best we have the battle happen at the end of Volume 1. And then Volume 2, they're on a journey to being captured. That's better. That way you have you end volume one off with a big. I don't mind making like a few minor shifts here and there of the scenes, but don't do drastic shifts like you did for Lord of the Rings series. I'm saying, yeah. But somebody tells me it's best we just follow the book. Let's just start volume two off with that big battle. Obviously, because I'm like Peter. The only big battle you get in volume two is that captured scene with Tacitus. I think it's best we start volume two off with a big battle. That we have a big battle in volume two. Otherwise, if you have the big battle happen at the end of volume one, there is no big battle in volume two. Unless Peter wants to add stuff, add more battles here and there. Peter's Ivan, you're right. Yeah, because volume one, you already had the war in the prologue. So that's already good enough. I think volume two, we start off with a captured battle scene with Tacitonius, Cassius, and the 50 men with a fool and the wolves. Because the only action scene in volume two is the battle with Tacitonius, Cassius, and their 50 men. That's the only battle. And the battle with the eagles and the crows. That's it. Obviously, whereas volume 3 is where you get like the big action scenes, obviously, right? The battle in the caverns, the end battle war. And Meramis and the Crows, that's volume 2 too. Obviously. So Ivan, you want to follow your story, yeah, Peter. I don't want you taking chapters from volume 2 and putting it in volume 3. No, man. Follow the DNA of the story, Peter. Don't make drastic changes, otherwise you're gonna ruin my story. So I'm saying? Yeah. You think Peter will add more battle scenes? Perhaps. He might want to do, Ivan, we should add a bit more battle scenes. In volume 2, maybe volume 1 if you want. I'm like, yeah, sure. We can add, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Obviously. We don't need to have battle scenes. Zayas already has enough. People are telling me, no, Ivan, we don't need to have any battle scenes. Your story has enough battle scenes. Yeah. It has more than enough battle scenes, right? I have like 7 battle scenes in my book. 7 or 8. That's good enough. Yeah. Oh, I forgot my coffee. I'll get my coffee after this smoke, guys. Go upstairs and get my fresh coffee. Yeah. Yeah. So that's why you want to co-write Peter. Yes, that way I keep Peter in check. He doesn't make drastic changes to my story. Obviously, I need help writing the screenplay. That's why I'm going to have Peter help me with Fran and Guillermo. But I want to be involved in the screenplay because I'm scared if I have Peter write it without my input, he's going to make all these drastic changes to my story. I'm like, Peter, what the fuck are you doing, man? You're going to ruin my story, man. He's like, Ivan, I know what I'm doing. I'm like, Peter, man, I know you know what you're doing. You have more experience than me, but you didn't write this book. I did. I know what's best for my story more than you. I wrote the fucking thing. I don't want you making drastic changes in my story, Peter. Or by your contract in the blood, having the woman fight, the ancestors appear in physical form, have Cornelius be a northern also. I'm like, Peter, man, you're gonna ruin my story. So I'm sorry now. We could change it. I'm like, Peter, you're pissing me off. I don't want you making drastic changes in my story. We can make changes, but not major drastic changes whereby you're affecting the plot of the story. Like having the woman fight, having Cornelius be a northern and all stuff. Don't do that, Peter. You're gonna ruin my story. So I'm sorry. So if you don't want one chapter deleted, I'm gonna tell you, Peter, I don't want you deleting any chapters in my story. All the chapters in my story we're gonna put in the movie. And you're not deleting any characters either. All the characters in my book are included in the movie. See what I'm saying? Because for Lord of the Rings, you cut out a lot of characters, and you cut out a lot of chapters too, that are in the book that are not in the movies. See what I'm saying? I read you guys Lord of the Rings book, man. Yeah, you see a difference. It's a huge difference compared to the movies, right? When I read Lord of the Rings, I thought it'd be like the movies. And I was shocked. I'm like, holy shit, this is nothing like the movies, man. Peter made a lot of changes, yeah, and he cut a lot of things. A lot of things he cut out, yeah. What about that scene in Two Towers when Erwin gives Aragorn soup? Is that in the book? No, it's not in the book. Peter decided to do that scene to show that Aragorn was one of the Dunedain. In the book, they make mention of how Aragorn is a descendant of the. Is it the Men of Numenor? Yeah, the Men of Numenor in Lord of the Rings. Those are the Dunedain, the Duned, whatever you call it, Dunedain, the people, the humans who are blessed with long life. Aragorn is descended from them. But the scene when Erwin gives him soup and the extended edition, that's not in the book. Peter added, he made that up, but he made that scene up that way he can introduce Aragorn being a descendant of the Dunedain, obviously. And that's how you know Peter made a lot of changes in the book. That's not in the movie. That's not in the book. So I'm sorry, yeah. Yeah, the Dunedain are descendants from the Men of Numenor, I believe. I forget. I have to reread Lord of the Rings. And Lord of the Rings is complicated to understand. I only grasped, like, I don't know, 7-8% of it when I read it. Because there's just so much land, so much information. It's crazy. That's why I'm surprised Peter even pulled it off. I can never adapt Lord of the Rings. It's too complicated for me. That's why I'm shocked that Peter pulled it off. Lord of the Rings is a very difficult book to adapt, man. Because the worlding is so rich. There's so many characters, so much history. It's crazy. It's a tough book to adapt. Whereas my book is much easier to adapt than Lord of the Rings. People would tell me, yeah, even your book we can follow page by page. Whereas Lord of the Rings you can't do that. It'll be kind of a mess. Yeah, you have a lot of pacing issues. Just Frodo and them walking, talking, camping, meeting people. The first half of Fellowship of the Ring is just Frodo and them walking, talking, meeting people along the way, man. That's pretty much the first half. But once he gets stabbed by the ring race and he journeys through the ford and he confronts the ring race and he's in Rivendell, that's when the story picks up a little bit. And when they go into Mordor, that's when it gets a bit better. But yeah, I told you, Lord of the Rings is a bit boring to me when I read it, man. It's a bit of a boring book when I read it, right? Yeah. Whereas my book is more fresh, it's more interesting. Don't hate me, Jared Tolkien, I'm saying, you know. I'm saying, huh? Yeah. Get my coffee soon, guys. It's been like 20 minutes. 20 some minutes. Ivan, is your history deep too? Yeah, my history is deep too, but it's not as deep as Lord of the Rings. My book only has a 1,000 year history, whereas Lord of the Rings you have like a 4,000 year history, whatever it is, right? 3,000 year history, whatever it is, and the history is very, very deep when you read the appendices, obviously. And that's why for Lord of the Rings you can do a lot of prequels, Barian and Luthien. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, a lot of prequels you can do. Obviously, for Lord of the Rings. So Lord of the Rings has richer, Lord of the Rings has richer world building in that sense. In that sense, it's better than my book. But I think my world building is more unique in Lord of the Rings, with the North and the South. But Lord of the Rings has a richer world building, richer dialogue, richer flow of speech in terms of the word choices. It's beautifully written. All these big, like, all these big English words, obviously. But the story's not as entertaining as my book. My book is more entertaining, hence why it's a better read. At the end of the day, it comes out to entertainment. Even if J.R.R. Tolkien is a better writer than me in terms of word choices and building a world and everything, and his history is even richer than my book, the story's not as entertaining. It's more boring. Whereas my book is may not be as rich as Lord of the Rings in terms of word choices and world building, but the story's more entertaining. The characters are better. They jump on the page. And that's why I wrote a better book than Lord of the Rings. At the end of the day, it comes with entertainment. If you entertain the reader more, you wrote the better book and you're the better author. There's a reason why my stepmother told me my book is number one, which means it's better than even J.R.R. Tolkien's Lord of the Rings, and George R. R. Martin's Game of Thrones, and J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter, and Robert Jordan's Wolf Time, Brandon Sanderson's Stormlight Way of Kings. It's better than all those books. Because my stepmother told me my book's number one. Number one, Xanus. Sarah? Yeah. Hey, Mr. Guys, I'm gonna go upstairs and get my coffee, guys. Back in a sec. Still, we don't win that for that. Don't hate no, son. We got you on this show. Alrighty, guys, I'm back. I'm supposed to get my coffee. Oh, so Lord of the Rings has richer world in your book? Oh, yeah. Lord of the Rings world building is much richer than my book. My book has amazing world building, too. And the history is pretty rich, too, when you read it. You'll find out the history when you read Volume 3. That's why I didn't show you Volume 3. Volume 3 answers all the questions. Why that world is the way it is. Why is the South cursed and North holy? You get the whole answer in Volume 3. Hence why I enjoy Volume 3. It'll blow your mind away, obviously. I wrote a masterpiece. You give a lot of history about the past. Not much. A little bit of it. Hence why you can also make prequels. But if someone were to make prequels from my book, you'd have to make up your own story, because I give very little history about the past. But I give enough history about the past whereby you can make prequels, but it's not as detailed and rich like Lord of the Rings, right? Lord of the Rings is very detailed and rich, whereby Jared Tolkien even has appendices after Return of the King, which I did not finish it. I'm a good, 40, 50 pages into the appendices of Lord of the Rings. The appendices are a bit boring, hence why it's tough for me to get through it, but I finished the book, but I did not finish the appendices, which I will eventually. I'm going to read the appendices and finish it. I might reread Lord of the Rings again. I understand it more. Yeah, I reread Fellowship of the Ring, you read Two Towers, you read Return of the King to understand it more. Yeah. Yeah. So Lord of the Rings world building is so rich. Yeah, Lord of the Rings world building is so rich and deep. Nobody can untop that for a fantasy book. Even though I wrote the best fantasy one ever, even my world building doesn't top Lord of the Rings in terms of the richness of the history and everything. Nothing. Jared Tolkien set the standard for that. Nobody can top that world building, man. It's too deep, too rich for a fantasy novel. But in terms of story and characters, I topped it, man. Xanus is a better book than Lord of the Rings when you read it. It's more entertaining, more fresh. Lord of the Rings has deeper history and everything, but the story is not as entertaining. It's more boring, and my story is more fresh and entertaining. And the characters are better, too. That's why I wrote a masterpiece. A better book than Jared Tolkien's Lord of the Rings. I don't mean to be cocky. It's just the truth, man. You guys read a section of my book, and you read Lord of the Rings, and you see the difference when you read both books, right? My book's more entertaining to read, yeah. Yeah. The only world building that blows Lord of the Rings, even Lord of the Rings world building out of the water, is Star Wars. The Star Wars world building is even richer and deeper than even Lord of the Rings, man. Like Star Wars, you have the Old Republic, you have the New Republic. You know what I'm saying? You have the Republic, you have the First Order. You have the Rebellion. Like, it's deep, and you have hundreds of planets in Star Wars. The Star Wars world building even tops Lord of the Rings, man. That Star Wars world building is so deep, man. There's a reason why you have hundreds of books, right? Hundreds of books, yeah. Legend books, yeah. The world building in Star Wars is even deeper than Lord of the Rings, man. You have hundreds of Star Wars books, right? Yeah. Star Wars is the only world building that blows Lord of the Rings world building out of the water. Star Wars even has a much richer history than even Lord of the Rings, man. The history in Star Wars is crazy, man. So much fucking history in Star Wars, yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. Yeah. Alright, you think your world building is better than Lord of the Rings? Well, it depends what you mean by better. If you're talking about the richness and deep, if you're talking about the richness of the world building and the history, no, Lord of the Rings is better than my book. in terms of the uniqueness of the history and of the world building, my world building is better. I think my world building is even more unique than Lord of the Rings. It's a very unique world, not as rich and deep, obviously, but it's unique. You have the north and you have the south. The south is cursed. The demon wolves live in the south. The demon bats live in the south. You have the Southerners. You have the Northerners who live in Xanus. It's a fucking unique world, man. The Northerners don't like the South. The Southerners like the Northerners. So it's a fucking amazing world that I made, right? Yeah, I mean, that's unique, man. Yeah, it's even more unique than Lord of the Rings, man, my world building. But Lord of the Rings is better in terms of the richness of the world building. Obviously, the history and everything is richer and better, but my world building, I think, is more unique. That's why it's a better book, obviously, right? Because I don't have as much land. Lord of the Rings has a lot of lands. I only have, like, I don't know, 7 lands in my book. My world, yeah. You have Xanus, you have Cyrus, you have Sapphirus, you have you have the Gilead City, you have the mountain of Gilead in the south, the mountain of Gilead in the north, you have the forest of Galathia, you have the marshlands. So you have like eight, the Valley of Blood. I have like 9, 10 locations in my book, yeah. It's not as deep as Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings has a lot of lands, man. Dozens of lands, yeah. My world is more unique than Lord of the Rings. Yeah. Sarah? So Takis broke the law when he left the walls. Yes, he broke the law, hence why Cassius and Tacitonians had to look for them, and hence why Cassius and Tacitonians were allowed to leave the wall, because the prince was missing. Hence what? Yeah. Why? Well, how does that tie into the missing prince secret in Latin Hills? Well, you have to read 22 years later to understand. I won't spoil the story for you, man, right? Yeah, I won't spoil the story for you. Yeah, but how does Takis end up leaving the gate if he's not allowed to leave the walls? Well, I won't spoil the story. You'll see when I read the book. I won't spoil the story for you, obviously. Takis broke the laws. You guys read in What Was Cyrus House and more, right? Yeah. He's like, I, Sirius, have never been outside the wall of Xanus. So what you're saying, Taki, is you broke the law. Yeah, but I couldn't just sit on my ass and greet my father and do nothing. Yeah, Taki's had this revenge spirit in his heart. He wanted to avenge his father's death, obviously. As spoiler alert, Taki's verse obviously dies in the prologue, right? It's not a spoiler because I told you Taki's verse is only in the prologue. Well, if he's only in the prologue and he's not in the other chapters, obviously something happened to him. So it's not a spoiler. Because Taki the First is not a major character in the book when you read it. But spoiler alert, he does die in the prologue. That's a spoiler. That's a spoiler, guys. Yeah. Samsara? Yeah, Tactius tells Sirius and Mabari, in Xanian law it is forbidden to leave the walls without a good, sober reason. You can only leave the walls unless you have a good reason to leave the walls. Hence why Cassius and Tacitonians were allowed to leave the walls, because they had a good reason to leave the walls. The prince was missing, their cousin was missing. So they were allowed to leave the walls. Because Tactius is important. He's the prince of Xanus, obviously. And they look for him, yeah. That's really the master that I wrote. Amazing book, man. So Eritat's evil Ivan, yeah. Because Bo failed his mission, he tells the people, the wolves, yeah, take Bo and cut off one of his arms. But in the movie, I'm not going to have him cut off his arms, because I want to have a good battle with John Boyega and Bo the Pit Watcher. Have him cut off like a part of his finger. You make that change. Take Bo and cut off a part of his finger, a part of his hands. instead of his arm. You make a few changes here and there. Peter's like, yeah, that way you get a better fighting scene with John Boyega. Yeah, Peter, we can make a few changes. That's fine, making those minor changes, but don't do drastic changes. Aratat has a long sword in the movie. In the book, he has an axe. That way you get better fighting with me and Aratat in the movie. Make a few changes, obviously. In the book, Aratat's eyes glow red, Taki's eyes glow blue. In the movie, his pupil changes color. It doesn't glow. Otherwise, it'll be stupid and silly if it glows right. It works for the book, but for the movie adaptation, that'll be very silly. Peter's like, Ivan, that'll be very silly if you have their eyes glow like that. Have their pupils change color. Taki's eyes change color to blue, and Aratat's eyes change color to reddish, a bit of reddish and black, right? Yeah. Make that change. Some Zara. Yeah. So Ivan, that all makes sense. Now I understand why Taki had to use a fake identity. Yeah, the name Takis is not saving itself, man. Because the Salvins know about Takis the First. They know his name is Takis. Obviously. Have they heard stories about him having a son? Yes. They passed it down during the years. But they don't know. They don't really know what they don't know what the Princess Leia looks like. Because the Salvins have never been to the North. Yeah. Hence why Sirius tells Takis, yeah, your name Takis not be used here, and your sword hide it. They can't know who the Princess Leia is. You can draw the wolves here. And the Salvins don't like the Northerns. Sirius knows that. He's not stupid. Yeah, Taki is the Salvins don't like the Northerns. And your name Takis can draw attention from the wolves. And your sword, you have to hide it. They can't know who the Princess Leia is. Because if they know Takis has a sword, they'll know he's a Northern. That's how the people recognize Cassius Nesatonis in the beginning of Axis of Savage chapter. They saw them carrying weapons and they knew they were Northerns. Men from the North. A Zanian here. What is he doing here? You know what I'm saying? And Cassius tells Job, it seems like Salvins don't take Northerns too kindly. How sick, I know. Look at sick. Yes, very few from the South have been to the North. Very few from the North have been to the South, yeah. Job's point was pretty much, yeah, because the Northerns and Southerners, the Southerners never go to the North, the Northerns never come to the South. When a Northern comes here, the Southerners are shocked because the Northerns never come here. Too few from the North have been to the South, yeah. It's very rare for Northern to come to the South. The Northerns fear the wolves. They know the South is cursed. They fear the wolves, the devil wolves. That's why they never come to the South. That's why they were shocked when they saw Tacitus and Cassius. Men from the North. You know what I'm saying? Here's Ivan, like, you're looking at a masterpiece, man. This is Lord of the Rings. Oh, I know, here's Lord of the Rings. Looking at masterpiece, man. It's Lord of the Rings. Yeah. The Southerners like the Northerns. I know it's like the Southerners. I know, like, after I'd be looking at a masterpiece. This is Lord of the Rings. Oh, I know, here's Lord of the Rings. It's Lord of the Rings for you, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Yeah. That's how easy. I can't wait to pull Lithia. I mean, I know BJ. Well, Ivan, seriously, man, I can't wait to be a part of this big movie with you, Ivan. We can fund it with our own cash out. We're the boss, I know. We signed that Mega 8020 deal with Amazon. If I make 20 billion less, right? 80-20. If I make like 25-30, the deal is not even 10 with Amazon. That way Amazon doesn't dupe me. If I make my like 150 billion or something, I'm shocked. The deal with Amazon's 90-10. The way they don't dupe me. So, but chances are I'm going to make my 12, maybe 14, 15 billion off the book. The deal with Amazon's 80-20. I'm not going any harder than that, man. That's good enough for Amazon. You guys get 20% of the profits for the merch and for the 4K Blu-ray movie, and we get our 80% being VJ. That's the deal. When you get the news, Iron Inventory Justice signed mega deal with Amazon. Amazon is the distributing partners. They own the distribution rights. I'm going to give Amazon distribution rights for my movie. But they don't own the brand. I'm going to put that in the contract. You guys don't own the brand. You just own distribution rights for my merch and for my movie. But you don't own the brand. That's a good deal for Jeff Bezos' company, right? You gotta make their billions, yeah. Yeah. That's why the agents and managers want a piece of that 80%, man, for the merchant for the movie, yeah. And the game, too. They're greedy pigs, man. They want a bigger chunk of the pie because they're greedy. They know me and VJ are going to gross billions in nets. Yeah, the billions me and VJ are making is in the net profits. It's not gross, man. It's in the nets. That's billions in nets, man. Yeah, I don't know, like $7 billion, $8 billion in nets for Xanus. And that's why the agents want a bigger chunk of that pie. Billions for the game, billions for the merch. They know it's in the billions, that's why they want a bigger chunk of the pie, the agents. But they're not getting more money, man. This is enough. You guys don't make this in Hollywood. If you don't have an offer more than one Hollywood, let me know. This is live. Yeah, you're a good deal. Watch out for the actors, greedy agents, and managers. Like the greedy pigs in Hollywood. They're greedy. Everyone in this world wants to make more money for themselves. Do whatever they can to make more money. That's why the agents and managers are greedy pigs, man. The Hollywood actors, agents, and managers are greedy pigs. Be careful, Ivan, for the greedy agents and managers. They're greedy. Everyone in Hollywood. Yeah. So that's why Peter Jackson wants a bigger chunk of the pie. Yeah, because he knows me and VJ. He knows me and VJ are going to make our billions. I don't know, our $20 billion off the movie merchant game. He wants a bigger chunk of that. But yeah, even though 1.1 billion deals a lot of money, it's still pocket change. Compared to how much money I and VJ make. I want a bigger chunk of that. I want like a nice $2 billion of that. He's greedy, Peter. I'm not paying him that, man. He gets his 1.1 billion deal for the movie. That's good enough. In Canadian money, which is 1.4 billion is American money, in New Zealand money. That's a good deal for Peter. He's Ivan, sign me up, man. This is way more than what I made for the Hobbit of the Rings. Yes, Peter. His age, Ivan, you're very generous, man. A 1.1 million deal. Holy shit, that's a lot of money for Peter. You're very generous, Ivan. Because Ivan, that's a deal. Sign me up. I'm saying this is more than what I made for the Hobbit of the Rings combined. Yes, this is more than what I made for the Hobbit of the Rings combined, Peter. And Peter signs that mega deal. You got the announcement. Peter signs 1.1 billion deal for the Xanus movie, and all the directors are shocked. Holy shit, Peter signed his billion plus deal, which is 1.4 billion in his New Zealand money, right? Because he lives in New Zealand, Peter. He's making even more. Walking away like 700 million in his bank after taxes. Alright, that's a lot of money, but I want a bigger chunk of that. I want like 800, 900, $1 billion in my bank. I know, Peter, but you're getting greedy, man. I'm not paying more money. Stop being greedy. I'm just messing, man. This is what I'm like. Yeah, I want a bigger chunk of that. I know, Peter, but I'm not paying more money, man. Stop being greedy. Greedy pig, yeah. Sorry. Mel Gibson's greedy too if I choose Mel. Mel, I'm not paying you more. I get more of that. I'm like, no, Mel, this is good enough. I'm not paying more money, man. Stop being greedy, Mel. I choose Mel because I might choose more for Peter, right? Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Give me a second. I'm just gonna get more coffee. Almost done. I'll talk maybe another 20 minutes. I'm done, guys. Thought someone's got my room, guys. Go upstairs and get my coffee, guys. Back in a sec. guys, I'm back. I'm supposed to get my coffee. More coffee for myself. Yeah. So Peter will have that smile on his face. Yeah, Peter Jackson or Mel Gibson will have that smile on their face during a documentary because I paid them. They signed the biggest contract ever. Peter signed the biggest contract ever in history for a movie contract. No one ever made $1 billion for a movie. And I also gave him an unlimited budget. A $2.1 million budget, $700 million per volume, $400 million towards visual effects and special effects, $151 million towards the costumes, armor, weapons, and the mask, prosthetic mask. I put like $55 million towards set building, $60 million towards extras. Unlimited budget, man. The cameras, the drones, we get the best stuff. Peter has an unlimited budget, man. That's why he's happy, because every director's dream is to get paid a lot of money. They also want an unlimited budget, but Hollywood doesn't have that kind of budget. My company has. Here's a guy, if you sold out, Hollywood would have put maybe $300 million towards your movie, Ivan. And they would have paid me maybe $20 million, $100 million to roll these Peter. Because I got him out of Hollywood and I'm going to make billions off my movie, I can pay Peter way more than what I'll ever make in Hollywood. Way more than what he ever makes in Hollywood, yeah. Sarah? So Peter will have his director chair. Yeah, he has his director chair. He sits down. He's like, ready, set, action. You know what I'm saying? And you see the behind the scenes. Holy shit, Peter is working hard with Guillermo del Toro directing the movie. Yeah. And Peter's Ivan, you have no Ivan, even though it's dirty around, I'm having a blast directing your movie, man. Because I know the end product will be so cool with this technology, and you as Prince Tactius, man. I can't wait for this movie up here. Are you more excited for my movie than Lord of the Rings? Ivan, are you kidding me? I'm way more excited for your movie than I was Lord of the Rings. Ivan, fuck you, man. They owe me money, man. They ripped me off. Fuck Bob Shady and Mike Lynn. Ivan, those guys only gave me a shade. I don't know budget. Yeah, Peter might diss Hollywood. Fuck Bob Shady and Mike Lynn. Ivan, yeah, Peter might tell me that, yeah. You gave me an unlimited budget, Ivan, yeah. And you signed me to a $1+ billion deal. Yeah, he's happy, Peter. Yeah. Even though Xanus is dirty work, obviously, working, I don't know, for like 10 months, 11 months, the actors are going to have a blast. And the 10 months are going to fly by so fast. Before you know it, like, 10 months go by and the production's done. And while the actors are working, they're doing that dirty work, they're getting their fat check. Peter's getting his fat check. And I'm spoiling them with an all-you-can-eat buffet, man. Yeah. An all-you-can-eat buffet. Yeah. All you can eat. With your soft drinks, your juice, your milkshake. I'm also going to have juice, too. I'll have, like, orange juice, Fruitopia, apple juice, punch. Because not everyone likes soft drinks, so you need to have some juice option, too. Water, too. A lot of people are going to want to drink water, too. I'm going to have a high-end vending machine for the drinks, man. One vending machine for the milkshake, the chocolate, strawberry, vanilla. And you have a vending machine with, like, I don't know, 10 different soft drinks and juice, too. Yeah. An amazing buffet. All you can eat, man. And Eric Rezahaco will be the boss of the kitchen. They're in charge of making the food, obviously, for us, obviously, or for everyone, right? Yeah. Yeah. So I'm filling a movie's blood, sweat, and tears. Yes, it is, man. Like most actors, most movies actors film all day. They film for like, I don't know, 12 hours a day. We're gonna be filming for a good, like, 12 hours a day, man, for Xanus. Something crazy. It's dirty work. Obviously, it's dirty work, but at the same time, we're gonna have a blast. Because everyone knows the end product will be so cool. Like, once production's done and post-production begins, the actors know it's gonna be very, very cool when you see the trailers. Aerotap Number Devils. It's an IVJ movie, you know what I'm saying? The whole world's buzzing about the movie because they're excited to see me VJ mainly. And the stars are part of that buzz. They're gonna have a blast filming, obviously. But it's dirty work, obviously. But I paid you a lot of money, you gotta work hard, man. Yeah. I'm gonna tell the actors, look, man, like, this is not, I'm gonna tell John Megan, this is not Star Wars where you film for maybe 4 months. No, man. We're filming each volume back to back. You're gonna be working for a good, like, 10 months. Like, 7 days a week. That's dirty work, but I paid you your $9 million. You gotta work hard, John. I don't worry about work hard for you. He works hard. He's getting that what? He's getting that fat check, John Megan, man. Yeah. His $120,000 check every 2 weeks John Megan is making something crazy. 120 grand every 2 weeks. He gets paid, and he's also getting his promo money too for the Empire magazine shoots. Right, it's $2 grand a week, and you also get the perks. You get an all-you-can-eat buffet, and you have your own laundry attendant who washes your clothes for you. You have your own makeup artist, your own hair designer, all that stuff. Is nice perks, man. As all actors in Hollywood have their own makeup designer, hair designer, all that stuff. Yeah, obviously. Well, the actors get their own personal makeup, hair designer. No, there's a bunch of hair and makeup designers who work on the actors. But me and VJ have our own personal hair designers just for us, because we're the boss. But the actors have their own trailer where their clothes are and everything, but they're sharing the trailer with the other actors. But me and VJ, we get our own personal trailer because we're the boss. We get our own makeup artists, our own hair designers for the movie. Yeah. Clothing designers for the movie. Yeah. Me and VJ are boss, man. We're the boss. That's why we get a bit better perks, right? Yeah. We're the boss. Yeah. Yeah. I can't wait to go with you, Ivan. I know VJ. VJ is so excited. Ivan, I finally get to be in a big budget movie, Ivan. No more shitty movies. I know, VJ. I got you out of Hollywood. Now you're the boss of me, and we have our own films to appear in Hollywood, and we control the box office money, the merch in the game, and all that money goes to us. And your keys are finally worth something, VJ. They're not useless anymore. Because VJ has useless keys. She's fucking stupid. She's sold to the gates. As they control her money. So even though the world knows about her television shows and her movies and her music, the doors are locking her because she's under the gatekeeper. She's sold out to the gates. So she's fucking stupid, man. Shit. My coffee almost spilled. Yeah. So Zane's Walk Crazy White Buzz, oh yeah, man, it's international fame. It's crazy, man. And that's why the Zane stars are gonna bet, because they experienced that international fame with me. It's worldwide, man. It's something crazy. Mainly the English-speaking world, but even the foreign world is going crazy too. Like China, Japan, they're going crazy too. Amazon's in China and Japan too, right? That's why you have to have subtitles in Japanese and Chinese. Because Japan and China are good markets for movies. That's why I'm gonna tell the people, yeah, make sure you have subtitles for Chinese and Japanese. That people in China can see my movie, obviously. Yeah. Yeah, you think John Camp and Rob Burnett and Jonathan Ray Orr are going crazy for Superman coming out? Nothing, man. Like, for my movie, they're going absolute bonkers. It's worldwide crazy fame. crazy. All the movie pundits are going crazy for Xanus. Holy shit, I can't wait to watch that movie. Did you see him? He's a fucking devil, man. Yeah. Eratet's a devil, man. He's a devil. Yeah. He's a devil, Eratet. So it's a revolutionization of horror, yeah. Xanus is a revolutionization of horror. And special effects, too. Revolutionization of special effects and visual effects, revolutionization of horror, revolutionization of battle scenes, revolutionization of world building. If you think James Cameron's Pandora is beautiful, well, my world will blow it out of the water. I showed you guys the pictures, my idea for it, right? It looks natural, but it looks fucking amazing. Like that Guardians of the Tree of Life, Perry Stone's video, I showed you that. I showed you that Chromecast picture, looking at a beautiful world. I'm going to show John how I'll leave those pictures the way they know for the north. And the mist that veils north and south. Look, yeah, I see what you're saying. You want a world like that? Yeah, and they draw a beautiful world for your movie. A revelation of technology, man. It's something beautiful. Yeah. Yeah. Ivan, seriously, why can't the Solomons believe Taki is the Princess Xanus? Okay, because the Northerns never come to the South. That's number one. So even if a random Northern came to the Southerners would still be shocked that that Northern is in the South, yet alone the Prince of Xanus. That's why they can't believe it. And Tactius used a fake identity. He claimed to be Colonius the Farm from Cyrus, and all of a sudden that random guy claims to be the Prince of Xanus. They can't believe it, man. What the fuck is the Prince of the North doing here? Remember that scene when Cassius and Suetonius, in the beginning of Axis of Sapphias, when they arrived, some of the Solomons were a bit shocked. What are they doing here and everything? Yeah, and those guys are not even the Prince of Xanus, man. They're of the royal family, so it's still shocking that some of the royal family will come to the south. They couldn't believe it. Yeah. A Xanian here, what is he doing here? They were shocked. Yeah. That's why Eli can't believe. Yeah, and Tactius even gives good evidence, and Eli still doesn't believe. Because he's a bit blind. The Solomons can't believe. That's why you always get that reaction, that cannot be, that cannot be. What is he doing here? That's why when Lithia was trying to convince Bell, you know what I'm saying? Bell's like, Lith, that's crazy speech. Nowhere's the Arab Xanus wandering these parts. We're in the south. Yeah, even Bell is shocked. What the fuck? Why the fuck would the Prince of Xanus come to this place, man? Yeah, in the south, man. Because the Solomons are seen as like lesser class of people. The Northerns are seen as higher class of people. So what the fuck are they doing here in our territory in the south? Yeah. Samsara. That's why they can't believe it. That's why you get some Jesus symbolism with Tactius. Tactius is from the Heavenly Kingdom, beautiful northern kingdom, obviously, and he saves the Solomons from Eratet's grasp in the south. You get some symbolism with Jesus saving the believers from hell, and those who believe in him get to be in heaven with him. You get some symbols of that with the Bible, if you want to call that symbolism, obviously. A lot of biblical in my book when you read it. Yeah. That's why I believe we're here to save these people in the south from Eratet's grasp. We should save them and get them out of this place. The south is not safe. Yeah, that's why I wrote a masterpiece, man. Because I know this is Bring on the Rings. I know because Bring on the Rings is a masterpiece, man. Fucking amazing book, man. Yeah, man. Samsara. Yeah, but I even like if Cassius. if Cassius didn't care about saving the Salons, how come later on in that scene when they're talking about the Exo Sabbath, he now has a change of heart? Because Tactius commanded him. He said, no, Cass, that's an order. We're gonna save these people. He's okay, whatever you say, Your Highness. Yeah, you have to comply, right? Because Tactius is his superior. He's a prince of Xanus. So I'm saying, yeah. And Cassius also matures a bit too. He grows. Tactius and Cassius and all them, and even Tacitonius, they grow to like the Southerners more. Let's see. You'll see in the dispute scene in Volume 3 when they have that huge dispute at the wall. When they arrive at the wall, I won't spoil the story for you. Cassius and Tactius, they stand up for the Southerners a little bit more. Because the Northerners don't like the Southerners. You'll see what I mean when you read that chapter. It's actually funny. That's why I wrote a masterpiece, man. Yeah, the Northerners don't like the Southerners like the Northerners. You have this huge dispute, this huge fight, man. Yeah. Here's Ivy looking at a master, man. The Northerners don't like the Southerners. Oh yeah, if you're Ivy, like this is Birth of the Rings. Oh, I know for you, it's Birth of the Rings. It's Birth of the Rings period. It was yeah, it's a masterpiece. Yeah, man, masterpiece. So the Exo Sapphires thinks something like deep and powerful like Prince of Egypt. It's like Prince of Egypt. Yeah, when you watch it and they're in the caverns or in the mountains, and mosquitoes bite them. They journey through the caverns like Moria, and the demon bats live there. That's why you're looking at a fucking masterpiece, man. Like when that scene when in Prince of Egypt when they're marching, it's pretty powerful and deep. Yeah, things like that from my movie. That's why people tell me, yeah, Ivan, this will top Lord of the Rings. This is a bigger story than even Lord of the Rings, Ivan. A huge exodus, like Prince of Egypt. Ivan, like this is a masterpiece, Ivan. Eretan and his devil army are marching like Helm's Deep, and they find out they're not there in Sapphis. Eretan's all pissed off. He has his howl and everything. Yeah, all I'm gonna say is when Eretan arrives to the wall, he's so pissed off. He goes to Eli's quarters. He takes like jugs and chairs and like he breaks it and throws it on the ground. He's all pissed off. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That they fled that place. Peter's Ivan, like the world's gonna fail for you guys, but they're gonna be hooked, man. Like a double army marching like that, and the demon bats in the caverns, and the deep plot of Volume 3. Ivan, like, this is better than Lord of the Rings, Ivan. I know, Peter. Ivan, seriously, man. I enjoyed your book more in Jared over Lord of the Rings. I know, Peter. No, Ivan, seriously, man. I enjoyed your book more in Jared over Lord of the Rings. I know, Peter. It's better than Lord of the Rings. The masterpiece, man. Yeah. So you'll be adding stuff to the movie. Oh yeah, like for the scene when Tactius gets arrested, in the movie I'm gonna have them. They put him on trial. They arrest him in his chambers. He's like, "What's going on?" And they interrogate him in Eli's quarters. He's on trial and he's found guilty, and they throw him in a dungeon. And in the book, I briefly describe how some people in the streets are like thieves, tongues of deceit, because they see the bell sound and they know they're imposters and thieves, obviously. I might add stuff in I'm gonna add stuff in the movie whereby when Tactius are in the dungeon, some Sapphires when they pass by, they despise them. You know what I'm saying? Imposter. You know, this man is. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Obviously, that's why in that hostile crowd scene, they're like, "I remember this man. This is the man you locked in the dungeon, Eli." And his two fellow Northerns who came here deemed the same. Silence. We must have order. I'm now sick. I'm saying. This man is no imposter. He is Sir Prince Tactius, son of royal blood, heir to the same throne, whatever it is, right? Yeah. know what I'm saying? Takis has authority over me and you hear him. You know what I'm saying? Young man, does Eli speak the truth? Are you really the son from the north, the son of royal blood? I am. And you get the crowd is shocked. Here's Ivy looking at him. Mashes, man. It's kind of like Jesus, huh? You know, it's in the hostile crowd. I'm like, yeah, Pierce Ivy, man, this is a masterpiece. And the demon face in the sky appears. In the end of that scene, I'm like, yeah, Ivy looking at a masterpiece, man. No, this is better than Lord of the Rings, Ivy. I know, Pierce, better than Lord of the Rings. Masterpiece. I mean, masterpiece, my book. Yeah. 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 So you're gonna show Peter Guillermo Toro, Prince of Egypt. Yeah, I'm gonna show Mel Gibson or Peter Jackson Guillermo Toro, Prince of Egypt. That way they know they have an idea for the X's. Ivan, you want it deep and powerful like that? Yeah. And Peter's Ivan, thank you, gave me ideas. Yeah, I helped Peter out a little bit and get him all tore out. That way you give them ideas. Yeah. When Takis is on trial, is it as deep as Jesus and Passion of Christ? No. It's not as deep as that. Like in that scene they spit on Jesus and they beat him. I don't want them spitting on Takis and beating him and all that stuff. That's pushing it a bit too far. But he's found guilty and he's victimized. And they throw him and Sirius Vampire in a dungeon. You're gonna see me, Yvonne, Joe J. We get thrown in a dungeon, or me and Depp Patel, or me and Timothy Chalamet. They throw us in a dungeon. Look at a sick movie, man. Or if I choose right. Most likely Yvonne, Joe J. right now. You're gonna see VJ, Father, what's wrong? Tell me, you know, say, yeah, look at a sick movie. Here's Ivan, looking at a masterpiece, Ivan, man. This is like the best story ever told, Ivan. I know Peter, it's a masterpiece. Ivan, seriously, man, how the heck did you come up with this story, man? This is a fucking masterpiece, Ivan. This is the greatest story ever told, Ivan. This is better than my Lord. This kind of like blows Lord of the Rings out of the water, Ivan. I know. It's a masterpiece, yeah. It's a masterpiece, Peter. You know. Ivan, can I give more of that box set, Ivan? I'm like, no, Peter. $700 million is not. I'm not paying more money. If I make 20, I'll give Peter his $850. 20 plus, Peter gets $850. I'm not going any higher than $850 for Peter, man. That's enough. Otherwise, he's ripped me off. Some Sarah. Yeah. But chances are Peter will get his 700. If I make 12, 13, he gets 700. If I make my 15, 16, I can give Peter 750. If I make 17, 18, he gets 800. 19, 20, he gets his 850, Peter. But I'm not going any higher than 200 million for the merch. And 200 million for the game is enough for Peter. But if I make my 20, I can give Peter 250 million for the game, a bit more. But 200 million for the merch and 200 million for the game is enough money for Peter. That's $400 million. And you get your 700 million for the film profits. That's enough, Peter. You sign a 1.9 deal, that's enough money. I'm not paying more money. I'm saying Peter's just a greedy pig. He wants more. He's greedy. He's a greedy animal, that guy, yeah. It's a deal I've been signing, man. That's a mega deal, I know. That's a lot of gold, I know Peter's a lot of gold. Yeah. I'd $1 million for the promos. I'm like, no, Peter, you get 500K. Stop being greedy. I'm not paying you $1 million for the promos, man, Peter, man. You're getting greedy, man. You get $500K. $250K for the first year, $250K for the second year. Because Peter will only be featured on the promos for the first 2 years. Third year, fourth year, he's not featured on that stuff, Sarah. Yeah. Yeah. So John Mayer doesn't have to worry about me pushing him aside. No, John Mayer is going to have a lot of scenes in my movie, man. In the end war, I'm giving him his time to shine. He'll be fighting Bull the Pit Watcher. The main focus will be on me fighting Eritad, obviously. But I'm going to give John his time to shine. He's going to be fighting Bull the Pit Watcher, who's a powerful wolf. And Jimo Hansu fights Morale the General, man. So you're going to see John Mayer. He has a badass one-on-one fight with Bull the Pit Watcher. And you're going to see John Boyega being badass. You're not going to see him getting his ass kicked all the time like he did in Star Wars. Because I'm telling you right now, man, when you watch the sequels, John Boyega, when he fights all these guys, he always gets his ass kicked, man. Yeah, in Force Awakens, he fought the Stormtrooper when she's like, I don't have a weapon. And she's like, you have one. You know what I'm saying? And he fights that Stormtrooper. He gets his ass kicked. He gets his ass kicked in the end by Kylo Ren. Obviously. And in Last Jedi, he gets his ass kicked by the boss of the Stormtroopers, Frogo, whatever her name was. Yeah, he gets his ass kicked too. He beats her in the end, but he only beats her because the thing he landed on the droid thing, whatever it is. He's like, hey, and he cuts her head off, but he got his ass kicked, right? John Boyega always gets his ass kicked in the sequels. Whereas in my movie, he's kicking ass. He's a badass northern fighter, right? Yeah. G-Montu's badass. I'm badass. Don Cheadle or Russell Crowe or Vigo, the badass, yeah, in the movie. Some Sarah? Yeah. I'll match Vigo's contract with Don Cheadle because they're worth about the same amount of money. Vigo, I'll pay him his $10 million for the movie and he gets $60 million in film profits. Don Cheadle gets the $10 million for his base, $60 million in film profits, Don Cheadle. Whereas Russell Crowe signed his $90 million Canadian deal, which is $100 million his Australian money. He signed a $100 million deal with Russell Crowe. A massive contract, obviously. Some Sarah. But Peter might tell me to go for Vigo because he's biased. I even choose Vigo, man. I work in the Northern Rings. I think he's best for Marinus. I might Peter. Even though Vigo's good for Marinus, I picture Marinus as a black guy. I don't picture him as a white guy that much. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I even go for Don Cheadle. Yeah, I might choose Don. I end up choosing Don Cheadle, right? Or I might choose Vigo and Russell Crowe. We'll see what happens. I highly doubt it. I'm probably going to go for Don Cheadle as Maramis. Captain of the Archers, right? Yeah. Yeah. How dark's your book, Ivan? Children die in it. So in the movie, you're going to see the bats and wolves killing children, man. That's how dark it is. Yeah. Remember that flashback? Remember the flashback in Fellowship of the Ring when Frodo's talking to Galadriel, obviously, and he looks through the mirror and he sees the scouring of the Shire, I believe. You see the orcs, you see them captured and everything. Yeah, think of some of that for the landmarkings. Yeah. But it's darker than that because the wolves are devils, obviously. And the end of volume 2, Tactius says, "Yeah, my fear, even though these people are going to live with me in the north, they know going through that cavern is a dangerous path." He says, "My fear is some of these children here will not see the north." Tactius says that. It was right. Some children died in it. Yeah, man. It's dark, my story, right? It's dark. And Peter's like, Ivan, like, you really want to have the wolves killing children? That's a bit dark. I'm like, Peter, if you have the wolves killing children and it creates a more powerful story, it'll be a better movie. Yeah, it's dark, but it's going to make the movie more powerful, the story more powerful. I know what I'm doing, Peter. Yeah, it makes it more powerful. Yeah, it makes the story more powerful. That's why I'm going to put in the beginning of the movie, warning, this movie's not for children. It's a rated R dark movie, obviously. We're looking at the greatest story ever told. Best movie children made, best novel written. Yeah, man. Anyways, guys, I talked for now in 44 minutes. That's good enough. Hope you guys enjoyed this show. Stay tuned. I'll make a video tomorrow morning. I'm off tomorrow. I'm also off Tuesday, so I'll make a video tomorrow morning. And I'll also make another video tomorrow morning, Tuesday. I might do a double header for Monday and Tuesday, as I usually do right when I'm off. This is Ivan. I'm signing out. Peace, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this show. Peace out. Xanus!